Thank you so much for those that have liked, subscribed, reviewed, shared, viewed. We're about at a couple of hundred views on YouTube over our content. Those that have downloaded from the Buzzsprout link of the app, thank you so much. About 150-ish downloads over the last month and a half. We are forever grateful. May God bless you. We pray that it continues to be a blessing to you. Please be free to like, share, and subscribe. If it's been a blessing to you, thank you for those that do post and reshare on social media. We see it and we are grateful for you. Thank you for the comments as well and for the encouraging word. Keep going, keep going, keep going. And so we hear it and we're grateful. Thank you so much for doing that. So let's talk about now the families. You want to talk about relationships, so
Yeah,
defer to you a little bit.
we're getting ready to head into the holiday season, and this time of year is hard for a lot of people, especially people who do not have a lot of family members that are still around them, a support system. Rather, people feel alone. This is one of the times of year where the suicide rate is the highest. People have a lot of accidents. There's a lot of mental health crisis that happen in November and December because of the holidays. People really just feel alone. And so we've noticed a trend over the past few weeks of there's a lot of families, that we associate with that just are having struggles, internally and personally, whether that's relationships with their kids, relationships between spouses, significant others, relationships between, parent and child. There's a lot that's going on. And so we just want to be able to encourage you and equip you and strengthen you a little bit in the word and just let people know that they, in fact, are not alone as we head into this critical time of youth.
And so, Hebrew 12 to 1, verses 1 and guess 2, that's verse 1. Therefore, since we are surrounded by such a huge cloud of witnesses to the life of faith, let us strip off every weight that slows us down, especially the sin that easily trips us up. Let us run with endurance the race God has set before us. We do this by keeping our eyes on Jesus, the champion who initiates and perfects our faith. Because of the joy awaiting him, he endured the cross, disregarding its shame. Now he is seated in the place of honor beside God's throne. I gotta read that in the KJV because I think I learned it in the King James, and as much as I love the NLT, I'm like, that was weird for me to even say that. I'm sorry, I apologize. I didn't have this prep. Let me get there real quick. Hebrews 12, verse 1. Wherefore, seeing we are compassed, love that, compassed about with so great a cloud of witnesses, let us lay aside every weight and the sin with those so easily beset us, and let us run with patience the race that is set before us, looking unto Jesus, the author and finisher of our faith, who for the joy that was set before him endured the cross, despising the shame, and is set down at the right hand of the throne of God. I went there because let's say this year, and we can speak firsthand because we've had a beautiful group of people that have walked with us this year. If you don't know, we meet for prayer every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday morning at 6 p.m. Every Monday through Thursday, 6 a.m. Sorry, every Monday through Thursday, 6 p.m. We've had at least 10 people every call all year long. At least 10 people, upwards of 20 on some calls, at least 10 every single call. And in addition to that, we see them on Sundays as well. And just a growth across the year. Now, part of that growth is we, in some situations, have been in a time season of isolation. You were talking about it a second ago, how at times that it's very easy to be, hey, I'm okay, I'm growing, but now the holidays come in, where you're faced with, you may not have access to direct access to the people that you were isolated with. Or so let's say I talked about Jacob and Esau at the top of this year, and how Jacob was fine as long as he didn't have to face Esau. So when Jacob and Esau and Genesis had their split, Jacob went east, but his destiny was west. So Jacob went east 21 years later, tricked by his whole different story. He had to come back and face the music. As long as Jacob was away, outside out of mind, he was okay. Now, that's a there is room for seasons of isolation and separation and preparation, but there always comes a time when you have to face whatever it is. And now, for some of us, this is a time where we got to face whatever it is. Face the fact that, hey, on the bad side, I can't go home and see blah blah blah. Or on the opposite side of that, even I have to be around these people. Face that music. It's easy. When you were in your self care era, taking care of yourself, protecting yourself, whatever. But now that you got to be faced with the reality that I can't go or I have to go, right? The question is, do you abort the progress you've made the entire year? Do you abort the progress? So what happens is you are not the same person that left the situation. So now you have this, please keep in mind, this great cloud of witnesses, these people that protected you, provided for you, supported you the entire time. Now you have to step aside for a season, go face something. Don't abort the progress you've already made.
Don't fall into doubt.
Worry,
Don't
stress,
get
or
into
fear.
worry. Don't be stressed out and don't be afraid.
No. And it doesn't mean that those thoughts or those feelings won't come.
Mm-hmm.
But we talked about it previously. Cast those things down. This is what the rubber meets the road, right? Because now Jacob and Esau, I guess my wish to go to that story there. It's in Genesis. And so when Jacob and Esau happened, what you had was Jacob was a trickster. He was. Actually, you could say that his family named him Jacob because he came out that he was a twin. And when his brother Jacob was the younger one of the two, his brother came out, and all of a sudden you saw Jacob was grabbing the ankle of his brother. Like, oh, okay. And so Jacob was, trickster or jokester or whatever. And so that was his character. That was his character, right? So in Genesis chapter 27, we see one day when Jacob and Esau were born to Isaac and Rebekah. Still in my Bible, hey. And the way that the world worked is there was a blessing for the older child. And so it was specifically made for the older child, particularly the older male child.
Exactly.
And so his two brothers, Jacob was a few minutes younger than Esau, but this blessing was so desirable that Jacob wanted the blessing. So in Genesis 27, we see it's coming time to for Isaac to bless because he's old. Verse 1, one day when Isaac was old and turning blind, he called for Esau, the oldest son, and said, "My son." "Yes, father," Esau replied. "I'm an old man now, and I don't know when I may die. Take your bow and quiver full of arrows, and go out in the open country to hunt some wild game for me. Prepare my favorite dish. Bring it here for me to eat. Then I will pronounce the blessing that belongs to you, my firstborn, before I die." It's critical because Esau was a hunter, man of the land. Jacob, not so much. He was more of a homebody, you know? So these parents had favorites.
Yes, they did.
Isaac liked to eat the wild game of Esau. Jacob was more home, so his mama Rebecca liked to favor him more. They honestly spend more time together. Just for some of us, this is really about the face not going home for the holidays. You're about to be reminded that I'm not the favorite.
Grandma and them, mama and them, daddy and them, all your cousins. Yep.
I am not the favorite. But the question is, do you allow the shortcomings of our fleshly parents and grandparents to override the reality that God sees you and He loves you
Just as you are.
just as you, and just as much He loves Jesus? So, but Reggie, you don't know how it feels, and honestly, I agree. In the natural, I don't know how that feels. But what I can say is that we have a great high priest who does. And what he's saying is, I find myself saying this a lot this year, is God enough?
Mm.
Is God enough? And it's time and time and time again, Tony. I'm realizing the answer to that question is really no.
For a lot of people, it's not.
It's really not.
It's not. Because it's not tangible. He's not right here in my face. I can't hold him. I can't hug him. He can't keep me warm at night, not just alluding to, romantic relationships, but it's like I don't have anything I can physically, tangibly cling to help me, walk along with me. And the concept of God being by your side, but not tangible, is hard for a lot of people who need
physical
confirmation. Exactly.
Yeah. Particularly when he I love you with the everlasting love. As a friend, stick closer than a brother. It's like before I formed you in your mother's womb, I knew thee. But yet, why? That is not enough.
And then even going to my favorite passage of the Bible, and you can keep talking while I go to it.
And so we have the situation to where, like I said, some of us are about to be faced with that. We're about to be reminded of, honestly, probably why you left in the first place. They keep your distance, but you know that God is leading you back, whether it's out of obligation, it's the right thing to do. But honestly, I'm here to tell you, God wants to restore, redeem, reorder a lot of things, but he needs a willing vessel to work. But Reggie, I should have to subject myself to such abuse. Okay. My question is this: is God leading you back to it? Talk about being led by the Spirit. Is God leading you back to it? If he's leading you back to it, he's not leading you back to be abused. He's leading you back to he can renew, restore, reorder the situation through your obedience to him. Jacob and Esau, we got to the beginning of it. If you fast forward, well, the rest of that story, we know Isaac told Esau, go and give me some gain, come back, and I'll give you the blessing that's rightfully yours, okay? And what happens is, in the next verse, that Jacob and Esau's mother hears it, tells Isaac, hey, go out here, Jacob, go out here and do this. Come back around, cook it, take it to your dad. And so
you can take your brother's blessing.
Jacob was less hairy than Esau was. So she went as far as telling him to put on some of Esau's clothing and to cover himself up. And so ultimately, when Esau comes back, Isaac is finished eating the food that Jacob had prepared for him, and thus he received the blessing. And so Esau is mad at Jacob, and so he probably mad at Isaac too, Jacob, because he went to him, do you have another blessing for me?
Isaac is grieved as well because he only had one.
We got to study that blessing because how much of a blessing is this? Only got one. It's one of these. I can say bless you every time that you sneeze, but when it comes to that blessing, it's only one. But anyway, and so then Esau vows to kill Jacob. Yeah. So to get away, Rebecca, his mom, sends him over in the distant land with his uncle Laban, her brother. And so this is pre-law. There, falls in love with ultimately Rachel and Leah, ultimately who are his cousins. And we'll talk about that at pre-law. This is a whole different conversation. And so now he has to come back. God's talking to Jacob, hey, take it back to the land of your fathers. Jacob is like, if I go back there, my brother will kill me because I know how we left. In that moment, he did not see himself as a blessed man 21 years later. Right. He had 12 sons. Remember that he had his sons at this point. Right. He was a wealthy man. He didn't see himself as that way. But now when it was time for him to go back and face some stuff that he ran away with his tail tucked between his legs. He was
scared.
Yes. And for some of us, we're finna say, Reggie, I am scared. I don't want to go back there. But don't forget the one who is calling you. Is God enough?
Even if you weren't the one that caused your own situation like Jacob did, if somebody traumatized you, if your family members or whomever you're going back to are the ones that victimized, that, abused or punished you for things that were not your fault, made you experience things that were not your fault regardless, you still may have those fears and those hesitations in going back into that situation. Jacob was scared because he was the one that messed up. You might be scared because somebody else messed up.
As long as God is leading you back. That's the most critical thing. It's
Mm-hmm.
God leading you back. God was leading Jacob back.
Mm-hmm.
So because Jacob was fine. He was irritated, pissed off, becoming discomfortable in the situation if you read the story, but he was fine.
Mm-hmm.
He was fine. But God like, no, you gotta go back over here. I need you
Address it.
back to confront it and to be addressed.
Mm-hmm.
And she was like most good stories. Jacob goes back. He tries to help God out. He separates the lot. He separates the family. You go ahead. You come behind. These gifts, these gifts, these gifts. As the spirit would have it, his brother sees the people. It's like, oh, what is going
Just
on?
trying to pacify him,
Trying to
calm him
please
down.
rule. Yeah, no, right.
Mm-hmm.
Just let him down easy. And Esau comes around. Who are these people?
Mm-hmm.
And what he does, runs to his brother and he kisses him. Like, no, I have plenty. No, you have yours. And so they reconcile in that moment.
Mm-hmm.
God, no, I know he wants to reconcile some families. He will reconcile some family. Now, there is some trauma that is there. There's things that have been said, things that have been done. If you, believer especially, if God let you, if he kept you in the cleft of the rock, he put you in a safe space, he protected you, he built you back up. You're wealthy, healthy, you looking good, smelling good, feeling good now. You can pray with the mighty, you can speak to the word and the people get healed, living, set free. You can do all that. Now God is telling you, now with your blessed assurance, let's go back. Let me work through you. Is it hard if you see yourself as the person that left the first time? Yes. But if you see yourself as the one following the Almighty God, look at the facts, the reality of what has happened, what God has done through you in the interim, how he's blessed you like he blessed Jacob, how he's taking care of you. And now that person is going back, not the person who left, the person who's going back. I'm a pause there. You were saying?
Yeah, I just wanted to kind of piggyback off of the point that you made that to some people, God is not enough
Mm.
because he's not tangible, because I don't have anything to cling on to, because I feel like I've been left alone. I've been abandoned by the people who were supposed to care about me, the people who were supposed to give me unconditional love. Um, but I like to reference Psalm 139 a lot because it gives you David's viewpoint of how much God actually does love you. And how from his viewpoint he wants to be our everything. He wants to be our all. He desires to be that enough. He is enough. We just have to renew our mind and change the way that we think about it. So just the first few verses, starting at verse 1, it says, "Oh Lord, you have examined my heart and you know everything about me. You know when I sit down or stand up. You know my thoughts even when I'm far away. You see me when I travel and when I rest at home. You know everything I do. You know what I'm going to say even before I say it. You go before me and follow me. You place your hand of blessings on my head. Such knowledge is too wonderful for me, too great for me to understand. I can never escape from your spirit. I can never get away from your presence." And I'll stop at verse 7. We have to understand the fact that there are some things we're not really ever going to fully understand. Such knowledge, the fact that God knows everything about us, the God is everything to us, such knowledge is too wonderful for us, too great for us to understand. Faith, yeah.
What if, I didn't mean to cut you out, 'cause you're about to flow. What if that's part of the problem? What if God knows everything about me? Why must I pray? Why must I confess? Why did certain stuff even happen if God knows everything about
Satan comes to steal, kill, and destroy.
it? Okay.
That's his job here on earth, to take away everything that we're supposed to have, the inheritances that we're supposed to have that God has already set before us. And God has said in the word, um, in this world, you will have trouble because the thief is here to steal, kill, and destroy. That is his job. But take heart because I have already overcome the world, which means no matter what hardships you endure, God has already outlined a plan to help you be that overcomer. He does already know everything about you. We can never escape from his spirit. We can never get away from his presence. And so the concept of being alone in the spirit kind of doesn't really, you can't have it both ways, because if we literally can never escape from his spirit and never get away from his presence, all we have to do is change the way that we think about it. And instead of needing that tangible presence, we just go, God, are you there? Because I need you right now. It says I can never escape. It says you're always present. It says you know everything about me. So look, show me, because I'm here needing somebody, something physical, something tangible to help reassure me that I'm going to be okay. As I'm revisiting these things, these wounds, as I'm needing, to go back and restore relationships with whomever you need to restore relationships with. I need you to tell me. God doesn't mind, you going and saying, look, show me who you are for real to me. And he will. And that may be something tangible. It may be that he sends you the person that you need. But you opening your mouth and confessing that to him, you activating that faith, that's what gets this ball rolling. That's what's going to get this moving. David believed that he could never escape